they just play like the Team Liquid game, we're going to have a very exciting close match.
And also, of course, they, you know, get smashed.
They play like Team Liquid.
I know, but people beat them.
Sage has always been, you know, this mechanical monster. I would like Niski to win the matchup because if anything, then that means the game will be easier for us to win. I feel like it's kind of 60-40 in Captain's favor. I'm going to say 90-10. I think there's definitely a world in which, through some miracle, I haven't slept in 3 days, that he ends up beating me, but if it ends up with a fair match, I don't see him standing a chance.
All right, so for those of you just joining us, mid lane is a matchup we do want to highlight. The bans are coming in. You can see them for yourselves. But in case you're wondering, Aatrox
no surprises yet.
Remains permad. Nothing else there particularly outstanding. Pyke also going to get taken off the board, though. Some respect paid over to Kasing.
I respect Caps' confidence in that little feature we just showed. He's saying that the only way he can lose to Niski if he hasn't slept for 3 days. Should hopefully not be the case.
To be fair, jet lag after returning is the closest one we'll most likely get.
It is true. Classic Rammus hover for Uramne. And of course, Zoe left open, and as we have seen before, one of the
picks. And he puts people to sleep. Fnatic.
Oh my god. That is the strategy. Heimerdinger left open. Ooh, Kindred.
Immediate Kindred lock-in.
High priority here from Brox's side on the Kindred. Was, of course, one of the picks we saw during Rift Rivals actually do very well, especially from Dardoch when he played it. I think Fnatic instantly went back and said, we got to pick that one up. Normally, we have actually seen it picked like, after you see like a Sejuani or something. But in this case here, I think Fnatic are so confident that nothing should really be able to shut it down. And Kindred just, after a lot of buffs, over a lot of patches, have hit a point now where the numbers are just so good that you can't ignore her.
Absolutely cannot, and I love to see it in the hands of Brox as something that he has played before. Heimerdinger usually means Soaz will be going to the bottom lane, but maybe Bwipo's put a few more hours into it, picked it up for himself, and Splyce, big fans of the Ezreal in this meta, like having that safe AD carry. Lots of poke on this composition already. Rounding it out with a bit of engage. Couldn't go into the hands of Xerxes, could go into the hands of Odo.
You actually thought that they would put Kobe back on an AP champion, was successful with the Heimerdinger during Rift Rivals. But in this case, because the Heimer was taken away, he probably felt like, okay, that was my best choice. And then he goes to Ezreal. My one problem with Ezreal right now, and it's a big problem, I so rarely feel like you actually carry the game with this champion. And you end up having a champion that tends to get pushed in the early laning phase. And even late game, most of the European AD carries can't actually take over with an Ezreal.
And honestly, the best performance on Ezreal we've seen at least this week was Steelback in our game earlier today. Did have that one really good team fight, and it's going to be tough for Splyce to emulate that same success, especially when there are so many damage threats already on the side of Fnatic. Two big sources of damage, along with a nice support to make sure that no one's going to get picked off.
Yeah, obviously a great pick versus Zoe and also Camille, the Tahm Kench. If it is Tahm Kench Heimer in the bottom lane, it's one of those lanes where you just feel like you can't all-in Heimer at all. And when you try, he puts up the big turret, he gets devoured, and you just walk around getting hit by a massive turret from Heimer. So it's a really annoying lane to play against when you want to go for all-in. Which could be the case for Splyce, but because they have Ezreal, I'm not really feeling it. I think they're going to actually just try and play passive bottom lane, and I think they're going to play more towards mid and top side.
Interestingly enough, Talon now going to see the bans. Fnatic did not want to prioritize that pick early, despite the fact we saw it banned in first phase in our previous game. Janna taken away. That safe bottom lane you already talked about, Deficio. Not quite as safe as it once was, as the champion pool does start to get limited for the side of Splyce.
So about to highlight Zilean as the other one that Kasing has started to play again, which of course is all about the late game scaling. So double range being removed. This was a strategy from Splyce all spring split, last pick for Kasing, and try and get him a range matchup in his favor, but not in this game here. I think Fnatic with Heimer, Tahm Kench feel like they have exactly the bot lane they need, because they love this Heimerdinger and all the pressure he brings in the laning phase.
And they know that the Heimerdinger is going to outpush the Ezreal in any reasonable lane setup, so they're more worried about how the support will influence the lane matchup. Now, Jarvan is going to be locked in here for the side of Fnatic, most likely Bwipo taking that one into the top lane.
Yep.
Probably comfortable in that matchup generally. We'll see if he can get more impact out of the champion than we saw from White Knight in the previous game.
We're starting to see this now more and more. Blind pick Jarvan coming in, as we highlighted earlier, like very solid laning phase and just always brings engage to the team, but can get shut down, can definitely get out-traded in pure 1v1s, and I think on the side of Uramne, we talked about potentially playing to top side. That's what they're doing now. Leave Ezreal bottom lane on his own, play towards his Rumble here. There is so much damage coming from Camille, Zoe, and Rumble on the side of Splyce.
And one thing that really did look good for Splyce was when Niski was roaming top, when Xerxes was roaming top, and they were setting up Odo for success. But now we're going to see the Galio locked in as well, so a ton of engage options on the side of Fnatic if they want to shut down some of the squishier members, someone like a Zoe on this team. But for Splyce, going with the Rakan.
I think Rakan is still one of the best supports in the game. Does not fully fit the plan of playing topside against them, and it will be very hard to actually play him in the laning phase against Heimer, Tom, Kench, which is what we're expecting, of course, from Fnatic. Do not get fooled by the Heimer being on topside here. Source will go down to bot lane, as you highlighted earlier, Drakos. So I think it's going to be tough focusing in the laning phase with Rakan, but it's always a necessary engage tool in the late game. On the Fnatic side, if we look at it, it feels a lot like a wombo combo with Jarvan engaging in and then a Galio. The Kindred doesn't really fit in.
Kindred is the anti-wombo combo.
Yeah, her ulti.
Rocket played that against Splyce. Now, admittedly, Splyce just killed the Kindred before it could mean anything in most of the fights, but Brox has to be really careful when and where he uses that Lamb's Respite, because it could ruin everything. Now, it could ruin everything for Splyce, admittedly. It could also ruin everything for Fnatic. Shut down that wombo combo if used unoptimally. But now, two comps locked in, teams on your screen. After the draft, Fisher, does this still look like the Fnatic favored matchup people expect it to be? Or are we seeing more from Splyce than we have in previous weeks?
I mean, this will always be the Fnatic favored matchup just based on how the teams have played so far during the split. Splyce is just that one team where we have hope. After what we saw against Team Liquid, if we ignore the group stage and we just look at that one win where they were proactive early game, they won every single lane, something we have not seen them do, if they can do it instantly here in the first game, you start believing that Splyce can actually make a comeback and start aiming towards the top spots. We do have to highlight, there is a pause. It is not a production pause. Kasinga's gone missing, so do not blame production for that one.
Also, I like that sign. Shout out to whoever made Caps is not baby Faker, Faker's baby Caps. It's a little easier to make that argument when SKT is struggling in LCK, so good capitalizing on a point of vulnerability. Splyce, personal pause.
I like it.
A wholesome pause right there.
Personal pause.
Well,
what we had in LCK was toilet issue or something, which was the greatest pause ever.
personal pause is a little better. We've learned from LCK. We've learned people don't always need full context, despite the fact that me and you were pretty much giving it right
It
here.
was actually the greatest pause ever. And then you just saw the player run across the stage with camera following him. Being like, what's happening here? Where's he going? And toilet issue.
That's like the highlights are just like, stay on him! Focus!
That's a real producer right there.
Oh, you know Jack, our director, would do the same.
Oh, yes. Sadly, the players do not run across the stage here in the EU LCS.
No, definitely true. Well, we are gearing up for the game here, folks. Comps have now been locked in. We are just waiting to get things started. No technical issues, as you can see on screen. Just a personal pause. Splyce, big question. Can they keep the form from Rift Rivals? Not all of it. Just that one Liquid game.
That's why, yeah, that storyline is like, it's such a tricky one because...
Can they look as good as Rift Rivals for that 30 minutes that they looked good? That's the question.
That's why we're not going to make any big statements yet. We're going to wait after this game is over. And if Splyce win that game, we can officially say that what they did at Rift Rivals against TL is now at the level of Splyce.
I can see it now. Post-game lobby. Niski is the best Zoe in the world. Look at the way he took down Caps.
Hey.
I know you. I know how you work.
It's true. Big sweeping statements. Caps, he's a Galio, man. He can't carry in that.
The thing is you point out, we point out the one Rift Rivals game, but also Splyce Spring Split was really good. Yes, it started rocky.
Oh,
but
we're
by
grabbing
the end,
for more now.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that there is a larger sample size. All of our faith in Splyce is not just one Liquid game. Although that was good. We're still going to talk about it, folks. I know you're tired of hearing it, but they did really help us win Rift Rivals after G2 let us down a little bit. But came together, and so there is a reason to be excited about this team, to see how they develop, to see what kind of form they can find. But on the opposite side, Fnatic look really good. Yes, they struggled in week one. That 1-1 week, not looking great for them overall, but since Whippo's joined the lineup, they've looked incredibly strong.
I think just the draft is so interesting from Fnatic because there's a lot of questions after it. Like, if we look at the blind Jarvan top lane, that, as we highlighted again, against certain matchups, can actually, if he falls behind, just feel super useless to play in the 1v1. We just saw Mundo last game get a Sunfire cape and just 1v1 down the Jarvan. Nothing he could do. And then the fact they have the wombo combo combination of the Galio from Caps with a Kindred ult. It most likely is initial engage is a grenade bouncing. it's all in and all the burst damage of a Jarvan. And then after the first initial kill comes in, that's when the Kindred ult can be used. Also as one of the answers to all the AoE damage coming in from a Rumble. But it's going to be interesting to see how it gets played out. I kind of want one fight to be them all inning, and then Kasing is back!
Back on stage.
There is no issue
Empty
anymore.
bladder, ready to go, folks.
He has returned.
Looking good. Dab on the haters, friend in the audience. Let him know.
We have a dabbing issue, pause the game.
I dab for personal
You
pauses.
can do better with that dab. You can do better.
Really got to get in there. Get in the elbow. We are gearing up for the game. Splyce versus Fnatic. Moments away from starting. Kasing has to get settled, get ready, look cozy. And the game seconds away from unpausing. And now as we enter Deficio, let's talk about what we're looking for here in the early game. We've talked about wombo combos. We know what the setup looks like mid to late game. But early game, what needs to happen for both these teams?
Well, I think Splyce will have to try and win the top side.
Huh.
Is that a warm-up, Pillow?
I'm glad he has pants on that side.
That's true. Nice apps. I like it.
True. Very true.
Anyway, got distracted from
League of Legends, it's happening now. Splyce, blue side, Fnatic, red side. Let's talk about early game. Go.
Odamne, Rumble, play towards that side, try and shut down the Jarvan in the early game. I think actually you have the advantage before at least Galio hits level 6 on the side of Splyce. So much early game damage coming from Rumble. Another one of those champions that kind of disappeared. And then the way back was like 3-4 patches of just buffs, buffs, buffs. And eventually, again, the numbers were so good that you just could not ignore him. And that's kind of the point of Rumble now. His mid-game is still absolutely insane. And we added a lot more scaling to his ulti.
It just continues to happen. Nocturne it's happened to, Kindred it's happened to, Rumble it's happened to. People forget about a champion until he's so hilariously overbuffed. We'll see if that's the case with Odamne and Rumble on the top side, though. We've had a lot of mixed success with Rumbles wherever he's been played.
I still think, though, the Fnatic bottom lane, they should be able to control that. We mentioned how the Rakan is really hard to play here because typically the way you can shut down Heimerdinger is quick all in. He is extremely squishy, and if you get to kill him, you can actually just step out of the turrets, and that's about it. But Tamkench just completely denies that. And then it's going to be a stopwatch. And then there's the big cannon, so all-inning on that lane is really not going to be a big thing. I think they just wanted Rakan because they needed more engage on the side of Splyce.
And some of those support options were also taken away in the second ban phase. Some of the options, champion options that would have given them the reset, something like the Janna. Niski, though, I like how he's starting this lane off. Very aggressive, knows he has the advantage level 1. Cap's much more focused on the wave, and Niski picking up some of these last hits as they move forward. And if you want to gank topside, it's important for Niski to have pressure in the early lane.
I mean, the thing about Galio is he's still a melee champion. Of course, can poke with Q, but eventually Niski just gets a few more autos in. Xerxes already playing towards the top lane here. Kindred will just grab the bottom side today. Effectively trading the map, expecting Fnatic to keep control bot, expecting Splyce to keep control top. And that's kind of how we're going to watch this early game play out.
And unlucky for the side of Splyce, the mark does spawn on the bottom side, so the way they split the map, not favorable in the old game of RNG, but we'll see if it's favorable as the play comes out. Whippo, though, playing very far back, clearly ready to be dove here.
I mean, the map has been split, Dracos. There's really nothing that Jarvan can do this early on.
Proxy clearing up 2 buffs. You're right, map has now been split. Bot lane on the side of Splyce. They already wanted to play under their tower, already expected to anyway, so things are just fine for them, and it feels like Splyce at least dictating a little bit how this early game is going to go.
And the most important thing for Whippo is do not take unnecessary poke damage, because the moment you do drop low, you're actually pretty easy target to dive. You can see here he's tried to stay as healthy as possible on his side, and Xerxes coming in now.
Oh. Goes in for a bit more. We'll have the shield now. Wants to wait for 2 champions to get maximum. Tax sweep comes out, but it looks like he's just going to get taken down. First blood picked up. TP now canceled.
Great dive from Splyce, but also a very, very big mistake from Whippo. We just said, try to avoid taking unnecessary damage before the tower dive happens. So there's a chance you can outplay it. You have EQ combo, you have flash to try and get out of it. But he went forward, traded onto Odamne, and ended up standing outside of turret range. And that's why Xerxes just waited. Because Odamne's like, thank you, I just get the freest trade of all time. Now the Jarvan is low, we see the Rumble damage coming in, and that's when they can execute the dive. So Whippo actually made that easy for Splyce, and that's exactly the start we talked about. Top side, Odamne needs to get ahead.
And when you look at Fnatic at Rift Rivals, we saw them pretty much dominate the vast majority of their early games. Rare that we see them make these kind of mistakes. Now, good news for them is that Brox has 2 stacks, but when you look back at it, 55.1% of their time spent in a major lead. And often the gold deficit very much reflecting that major lead, 1.9k up. Well, now they put themselves in a little bit of a hole here. 600 gold down early on. There's a chance to make it up, but So they need to make some plays somewhere on the map. Bot lane not going to be it. Soaz takes a bad trade, but Hylissang is there to make sure nothing else happens.
And this is another Fnatic draft that really is going to rely a lot on getting ahead early on because they have so much focus on this wombo combo engage on their side. I think also Broxa is another one of these members where his damage is going to be extremely necessary because it's him and Whippo bringing the physical damage to the lineup. Otherwise, it's just the Caps and Soaz. So I think with Fnatic, because they draft these like comps with a lot of bruisers, a lot of like run at you, try and dive onto your backline, these comps need to get ahead. Because if they are too weak when they actually jump in to try and kill Cobby or kill Niski, you just die so quickly against all the damage on Splyce.
Can't really afford to get any further behind. You can already see Broxa willingly giving up some jungle XP here, not taking the Raptors to try to get this one going. Now Xerxes is on the way up. This could turn against Fnatic. If they want to dive, they need to do it now. Oda not close enough to level 6 quite yet. They are going to start the dive. How is it going to turn against them? Cap looking for the taunt. They need to make it out of there immediately. Managed to get the summoner spell from Oda but not a whole lot else. Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Niski, no hesitation to flash over the wall. They're looking for the follow-up on Caps. Trying to take him down now. 90-10 matchup. How's it looking there, friend? Maybe in the 1v1, but not when all of Splyce are here.
Oh, Fnatic, that was so predictable. He had the big wave being stacked by Whippo. The moment he steps forward, Oda already knows, okay, they're here. Xerxes just ran straight from base. And the instant TP came in as well for more backup from the Ezreal. That one hits too.
Niski. Krug not quite clutch enough. Whippo now could be next on the menu. Tactical Sweep not going to connect. Broxa in trouble to flash forward. Niski 1-0-1, 5 minutes into the game.
And you know what we're seeing here? We're seeing proactive early game from Splyce, just like against Team Liquid. There was a reason we highlighted that game and said we're not making a statement yet, but if they can actually play like that game, you can start believing that Splyce have figured out how to play this meta.
2-4 versus 4-2. Splyce looking to bring it back, start to turn things in their favor in the standings, looking to go up 3-4 at this point. Show us that spring split form. Show us that Team Liquid form, as you highlighted, Deficio. And things off to such a fantastic start for them just across the board.
Good place on their side, but again, Fnatic, big issues on the top side. Whippo not having a great game so far, and a very telegraphed dive. Look at the minimap. Xerxes has been running from base. Reaction from Zoe, instant TP from Cobby, and you could see this dive would just fail before they even started it. Great bubble here. Ideally, Caps gets to flash the initial bubble so it doesn't actually get CC'd down. The moment he gets hit, you can't get up because if you have another dash here, you end up bouncing back first as a Galio, and then you actually bounce into the Splyce players. So no way for Caps to escape after the bubble hits from Niski.
An incredible start in Splyce. One of the things we wondered about was what would happen if they played exclusively around top side. They tried to support their bottom lane in previous games, and this time they've kind of just left them on their own, given them a safe lane, given the Ezreal, the Rakan, just let them play back. And things look really good for Splyce when they set Oda up for success.
Very true. And of course, Soaz has a free laning phase so far. He is far ahead in terms of CS because Cobby had to TP top lane to try and defend against the tower dive here. And that is really the only positive for Fnatic's early game. Caps level 6 is ready now. Problem for us is going to be hard to set up an aggressive play with it, knowing that Xerxes is playing top side. So if they try and go to tower dive, Oda again, his ulti is available, and Xerxes is most likely around. I wonder if Fnatic can try and turn it bottom side. They just don't have any engage down there. It's all poke and push with the Time Kenshin Heimer.
And they need to hit that initial CC onto Ezreal to stop him from immediately getting out. Cobby still has flash. Still, of course, has the shift win available, and Sing. Oh, maybe Whippo, though, could be in trouble here. What's he going to go for? Trying to turn this one back. Ultimate used by Brock, so Oda going to move back into this one. The heal is going to come down. TP on the way as well. Xerxes may just look to pick up the kill, but they're going to back off. Splyce not going to look to get too aggressive here. Hylissang is now a part of the party. The flash forward, no hesitation from this guy. He wants to turn this one in their favor. Niski is there as well. 3 members. Here comes Caps. He is sleepy, though. Trying to get the taunt. Not going to happen. Odo is going to go down. He's just saving the kill for Broxa. That's team play, baby, but Fnatic committing so much.
Hylissang, though, the MVP here with the TP, and not done yet.
Xerxes, only level 5. Immediately the Cataclysm comes back, but the quick kill. Precision protocol, baby. That was disrespectful.
There was a second Q ready for that one, and Whippo, you're a squishy man on this job, and in the end, it's a 1-for-1 trade, despite Fnatic investing 4 members and that TP from Hylissang. Xerxes still top lane. Will anyone try something?
The TP
His ult is ready. Hylissang's gonna die.
He is in trouble. Hookshot wall dive goes in. Immediately the Hextech ultimatum. Whippo says, hey, that was nice. A little sightseeing experience to come to the top lane, but the kill gets picked up. by Splyce, and things are just turning against Fnatic left and right.
Remember that week 2 graphic of 0% jungle proximity on top side from Xerxes? Definitely not the case anymore. Was not the case either when we saw Splyce actually do well in week 3 and against Team Liquid. He's playing around with Ramna. It's how they found success in Spring Split in the early game, and it's happening again. 5 kills for Splyce. Xerxes being part of every single one of them.
Broxa, maybe fishing here, is going to use the auto to cancel the back. You can already see a bit of a differential coming in on the top side. Level 8 Otawamne to level 7 Whippo. Difficult position, 53 CS. Not a lot of farming going on in this lane. These guys are just killing each other.
This is their first trade. Broxa saves Whippo initially, and this buys time for both Caps to try and get in range to ult and the TP from Hylissang. That's why Ramna, of course, has to step away instantly. And everything is actually fine here for Fnatic because Source can hold bot lane 1v2. He has stopwatch at this point here. He's not that scared. Of course, Caps eventually will get in range and Broxa gets the kill, but Xerxes, he's sneaky here. The guy who struggled the first few weeks.
Do you even have vision of this?
Blast comes over, finds Whippo, takes him down. So that's the first one.
Comes
then
back,
all
immediate bam.
Auto Q, he's gone. And he gets the Galio ult. Massive cooldown.
Absolutely is the case. Of course, Cap's still going to wait on that one to come back up. Going to be difficult because Fnatic really need that if they want to turn. So not hesitating to just remove the blast cone from the game as well, making sure that they can be left alone on the bottom side of the map. They may be losing out in CS, but the rest of the map is winning for them, so they don't need to make any crazy plays.
Great game so far for Splyce. Very action-packed early game. I really want to see what Xerxes can do next, because it feels like wherever he goes, Splyce picks up a kill right now. Source is, again, the only member actually doing well in this early game. It's currently sitting on 106 CS. We apologize for not being able to actually swap him around, so he's straight against Kobe, but you guys know that he's bottom lane.
Definitely do. Things look a lot better for Fnatic when he has a 20 CS lead in top lane, too.
That's true.
Looks like a lot of people have leads.
Source is effectively trying to carry both lanes at the moment, because Whippo's blind Jarvan is not doing great.
And of course, it's good for Fnatic that they have that, but Splyce, this entire game is a good look for them when we look back at their first 3 weeks d'Officio. Things were grim. Despite 2 wins, look at that goal deficit of 15. Negative 1.1k, spending a ton of time in a major deficit, getting 1 in 4 of the Barons that they went for or were in game for. That was bad. This Splyce, on the other hand, looks damn good. Already 2k gold lead, 5-1 in the kill score, in total control here of the early game.
Ramna and Xerxes once again looking for the potential top lane tower dive. This time Caps was around. Ulti is ready in just a few seconds. So instead, Xerxes can just say, you know what, we have all the control. Should be a Rift's Herald now for Fnatic, or sorry, for Splyce, which probably gets turned into a top lane turret if they want to do it quick.
Sadly, for Whippo, this laning phase is not getting any better. Rumble with a lot more armor, and the insane amount of base damage that champion brings to bear. Oh! Oh, he just got double lift.
Hey. Oh, nice.
We only get one more. I'm done. It's over. We have to let Rift Rivals go, but you got to get him in every once in a while.
Source Heimerdinger is so damn clean. Hylissang, of course, part of setting it up, but yeah, it is tough to play Rakan in this lane. I feel like Kissing got sacrificed in the early game for just picking an engaged support. He dies. That's going to be bot lane turret for Fnatic. Riftel will trade for top. Who gets it first, though? They're already on bot lane.
0-0, 50% health. Heimerdinger does a lot of damage.
The
Can't imagine he beat the
time.
Herald, though.
He did beat the Herald!
That's good for Fnatic. That's a pretty significant difference in gold. Giving it over to the Heimer as well. Very nice to have.
Source right now is just carrying Fnatic's early game. Everything else has gone wrong except for this Heimerdinger.
This is such a different look for Soaz.
Let's see, let's see. All right, just got grenades. Yeah, I can't even say anyone else actually did.
So when we
there.
said that you just don't do anything against this lane and you play back,
yes.
Kissing for one moment was like, this is my chance. This is my time to shine.
He's under turret. I can get him. No, you have no damage. You have an S-Will next to you.
Yeah. The old Sheen tier power spike.
But I made this point on Twitter about Soaz, like, greatest meta that could ever happen for him. Because before this, like, he was fighting against Whippo for the top lane spot. I mean, obviously, yeah, they were supposed to, like, trade games and so on, but you are fighting against each other for the starting spot. At Rift Rivals, at MSI, it was Whippo with it, because Source had just had his injury. We didn't know how it was going to look coming into the split. But the fact now that it's Source and Whippo playing together, and 7 years of playing every lane in solo queue, and playing every champion in solo.
And you have to remember, for a lot of his career, he was criticized for that. People were like, oh, SOAS doesn't take solo queue seriously. That might have been the case in Season 5, folks.
He predicted
but it's paying off in Season 8. Let's go.
Definitely is. He can pick almost any champion. You can put him somewhere in this meta, and he will actually add a lot of value, especially on the Heimerdinger. So it's been a great thing for SOAS specifically.
And really, when we look at Fnatic, you expect a lot of members to step up when the team is in a deficit and carry. SOAS is not always on that list. Usually he's relegated to the Mundo on the top side. If the team is losing, he's losing. But here on the Heimerdinger, paired with Hylissang in the bottom lane, having such a massive impact in this game. 1K gold difference separates them. Splyce still definitely in the lead. We'll see what else they can do.
Yeah, it's still going to be a very hard game for Fnatic to play because they're used to Caps being on a carry where he gets ahead. And you always have him, you know, being able to deal more damage than the enemy mid laner. But he locked into Galio in this game here. The goal was to play this wombo combo around top side, and he's fallen behind in the game, so he's not going to have the same impact. Kobe, can the grenade land onto him? The surprise grenade.
Triple bounce. I think he's got a year to react to that skill shot.
Maybe he's looking at something else.
Maybe he walks towards it.
Oh, grenade.
Krugs,
Grenade him.
there?
Don't need the new grenade.
Oh, yeah, he hit him. Yeah. Well, RIP, that was about 30 seconds invested. That did not amount to much, but they are able to push the wave back. Things continue to get more difficult for Whipple on the top side of the map. As you can see, he's got the bits and pieces build, the flea market.
He's the punching bag right now.
Oh, and Splyce are ready for another punch. Kasing, tired of getting punched in the bottom lane, is now here in the top lane to potentially look for a dive, but they're going to back off instead. Tahm Kench, though, rotating back his mid lane. Niski, though, no hesitation to make his way out immediately.
We're trying to see, like, the chain, you know, of yelling. So in the bottom side, they all yelled and made fun of Kasing, so he goes top lane, tries to do the same against Whippo. Everyone is trying to do it against each other, swapping the lanes around, but Xerxes, he wants something!
Shout, taunt. Caps just warning him to back up. I know Duran not going to connect on anybody.
That was a fine trade for Fnatic, though. I'll definitely trade my support flash for the Camille. The only difference is Camille has extra mobility on her side, but now it gets even harder for her to actually get onto SOAS, which seems to be the goal if you are Splyce.
You see the one strong member, and of course you also see the one weak member. Whippo does not connect there on the flag and drag.
It's Hylissang again, he got interrupted.
TP had to be used there to try to save him. Does manage to make it on the end anyway, though. Bit of miscommunication there. Maybe could have gone a little bit deeper. Niski now backing off those. He takes a big trade back against him. Tense
point in the game here. It feels like if Fnatic with Source are able to actually get a bunch of kills on their side, they will surely take a mid turret, and they will actually even out the gold in this game here. But Splyce, because they have that winning top side, one team fight in their favor with Odoamne actually in the fight should massively favor them. But this is the one thing about, again, the Fnatic comp that's so strange is they have kind of two parts of this comp. There's the Galio Jarvan who jumps in, and then there's the Kindred who ults onto a Heimerdinger with 3 turrets, or 4 even, and then the Heimerdinger will get everyone low.
Fisher figured it out. Remember Protect the Kog'Maw? This is Protect the Heimer. You have everything available to make the Heimer live forever. The Jarvan doesn't fit, but look at the Galio, look at the Kindred ulti, look at the Tahm Kench. We're basically playing Funnel, but with a Heimerdinger.
If you're using defensive Galio ult, sure, I can see it. And I think the goal is to get everyone low with the Heimer doing the Kindred ult, and when they come out of it, that's where you turn it around as Source. Let's see it. This would be one of the greatest games he will have played in a long time if he gets to solo carry this game for Fnatic.
We'll find out. How are Fnatic going to use this potentially unorthodox comp? A few bits of anti-synergy here. It's like putting Gragas in a wombo combo comp. It doesn't always add up in your favor. But Splyce for now are doing okay. The momentum has slowed down significantly. Good news for them, though. Broxa not getting too many stacks. Still sitting at 2. Hasn't had control of the map. Hasn't been able to mark targets that he has taken down. Of course, you do not want to give Kindred that time to scale up as one of the only other major damage threats on this Fnatic lineup.
Kind of waiting for that next play. Odoamne wants to desperately 1v1 Whippo here. Sadly, there is 4 teleports on Fnatic's side, so you're never really alone in the 1v1. There's always someone trying to join. We've seen Hylissang twice now. So Fnatic have kind of gotten control. They're now making the play top side.
Could be the play. Bringing in SOAS now. They may just try to take down the tower. Respect paid. Odoamne with the ultimate may just try to clear the wave. Tower's going to buy a bit of time, but Fnatic just backing off. A lot of damage goes into Broxa. Ulti comes out from SOAS. Not quite as effective against someone as tanky as the Rumble at this point in the game, but still a lot of good damage there.
The ulti being gone though from Rumble is pretty big. That means you can't clear the next wave. Fnatic using their insane amount of globals. That's actually the one synergy there is in this entire comp is Tahm Kench ulti, Galio ulti,
triple TP. Is anything else going to get completed? That... Okay, you guys might not have, but that was my favorite moment I've seen in League of Legends today. The one TP responded by another TP, responded by another TP, and no one actually goes except for
Must have been a
Caps.
slow day, though. Udamna no ulti, remember that? Kasing.
Broxa trying to fire back. A lot of good damage coming in from this Kindred. Xerxes trying to get it. Broxa looking for the plays. Immediately going to use the ultimate. Odoamne has to go back to the middle of everybody. Kasing wants to turn this one around. Broxa's going to come out, but immediately taken down. Fantastic turn from Kasing and Splyce to make that work in their favor. Niski is here, but the minion's body block. Soaz now in trouble, gets eaten up. Immediately Hylissang going to try to spit it back out, but he's in the middle of everybody. Not going to work for you. You go golden, you still go down. Splyce take the fight.
So many teleports in this game here. Fnatic had already TP'd Caps to the bottom lane, so he could not join a potential fight. And then on top side, they stayed eventually. Splyce found them. Whippo's trying something mid.
Niski has a flash available, though. Sleepy Trouble Bubble connects. Not going to be able to get anything else. Splyce still coming out on top.
Such a big fight, though. Fnatic will try and trade from mid lane turret, but I think Xerxes can get in here in time and defend it. Meanwhile, top lane, Udamna did not go down. He was almost dead, but then the Kindred actually came in and also ended up saving him. Kasing is here, another TP coming. And remember, Fnatic had already either recalled or TP'd away from this. And when you have these games with so many globals, it's hectic, man. They're fighting in mid.
Oh, immediately the ultimate coming in from the Galio, but Blippo's already dead. Caps manages to get one back, getting one for himself, now trying to make his way out. Hylissang does make it out to safety, just barely. Rumble traded away for the Jarvan in the end, potentially favoring Fnatic, but they have to be careful.
Caps is going to find Kobe now. Kobe's going to find Caps.
Caps is dead.
Kobe found Caps, yeah. He killed him. Not sure. I think Caps got really greedy there. He could actually just walked out.
Kobe find Caps.
Found Caps. There we go. Sorry.
No, I wasn't. Come on. It was hectic. It was hectic. This is exactly what you talked about with these two compositions, and a lot of globals down now, so Splyce can take solace in the fact that a lot of the global pressure from Fnatic has now been reduced. And for now, Soaz just trying to hold on to the mid lane. A lot has happened in the last 2 minutes, Deficio. 3K gold lead for Splyce.
The only thing is staying consistent is Xerxes being part of every single kill for Splyce. What a great game from him, but it almost feels like this is going too fast for Fnatic, which is strange because they are the early game team that dominated so hard at Rift Rivals, and Splyce was the team that couldn't really play proactive early, except for the one game against Team Liquid. But this one here, all the TPs and globals kind of end up shooting Fnatic around the map, and then they end up getting jumped by more members than maybe they expect from Splyce. Look at this play here. 2 members defending. They go in and Caps and Fnatic are calling, let's go for the play here. Look at the wombo combo, Whippo, and then the ulti from Caps, but you're under turret. Like 3v3 here.
Gotta say, rough game from Whippo. Fnatic going for the Secret Baron. Where else can they get? Broxa is gonna get it in the end, and also has the Lamb's Respite. He can go right over the wall. Hylissang gonna flash to take him to safety. You cannot take your eyes off the screen, folks! People going down left and right. Immediately the Equalizer gonna wake Caps up. That is the best he could have hoped for in this exchange. 3 minutes left on the Baron buff. Who actually is going to be left alive with it? Currently 4 members. Splyce.
This game is insane, dude.
Back.
How? Fnatic just lost the big fight. They've done it so many times with Heimerdinger, where like they surprised the enemy team because Heimer is so good at taking out early Barons. No one expects it. You just lost the fight. Why are you the one rushing Baron? But it worked.
I don't even know what to say, Deficio. 14 kills in this game, and 11 of them are from Splyce, and yet Fnatic never feels out of these kind of games. Baron, we're going to see what it can do for them. Will it just buy time, or can they get some semblance of control back? Because for now, you're looking down to 6-0-5 Camille. You're looking to 1-3-0-3 Zoe, and that Ezreal on the perfect 2-item power spike.
Yeah, the problem for Fnatic is they can't really avoid a team fight. That's why Kasing is on the Rakan. They have Xerxes for long-range engage. So even if Fnatic tries to siege, of course, there's going to be Blast Cone over. Can gobble the Heimerdinger over the wall eventually if they wanted to, but nope, didn't actually want to go for this one. Just big cannon, multiple small ones. And now you're standing here, and at this point, Splyce realized, wait a minute, they're on the Baron! And it's too late because Heimerdinger deals so much damage to it. They get here so close. Broxa just gets the smite down in time. Xerxes is not here.
Odoamne holds the ult and gets silenced when they have the perfect setup before the Lamb's Respite. That is so brutal. Thought he'd have the time there. Well played, and works out nicely. Of course, I'm just waiting for more action at this point, Deficio. I feel like
you're going to get it.
Anytime we enter a replay, I'm ready for people to be dead by the time we come out of a replay.
Fnatic sieging on the mid lane turret. This will give Splyce a chance to engage.
Xerxes, though, gonna take it safe, walk out. You can see before today, 3 kills only for Xerxes. This game, 6. So this is a monster performance from the jungler on the side of Splyce.
Definitely the best game he's played, all split. And something Splyce needed. He was the all-pro jungler in the spring split. We're kind of asking for Xerxes to show up because he had a very rough start to the summer split. And this game, he definitely did. Fnatic, as we highlighted before with the Baron, can't avoid a fight. So while the Baron is great to buff up your minions and get a small advantage from it, you still need to respect the all-in. Source Hourglass is there. Devour is there for him as well. This truly will be the protect Soas. Make sure he gets everyone low with him, and then once Kindred ulti is down, you can actually turn around for the kills.
Second item's now starting to come through. Kindred, you mentioned the Hourglass. Kindred now completing the Black Cleaver. Not sure who she's shredding armor for other than the Jarvan, who's also shredding armor for the Kindred. So,
oh yeah, that's definitely not necessary.
oh, Kasing whipping the engage, does manage to get the charm down onto one, but immediately taunted up. He is not going to die. Does manage to make it out to safety, but the major engage cooldowns burn there as his flash is forced out.
That was not a great engage from Kasing. Actually ended up hurting his team. But Amna's here with the rest. Niski jumping in.
Using the ignite that he steals.
Kasing's going bot lane to take the massive wave to the turret. Fnatic stepping away from a potential fight because the main engage is gone now. Flash also used from Kasing.
Baron buff, of course, still available. 6 seconds left. Not going to get a lot more auto attacks on this one. Odoamne going to be able to clear that out right as it fades away. You see Bwipo, blood in his eyes. He's ready to go in at a moment's notice if he can find the flag and drag. Not going to use it, though. Just wants to clear it out. Good ulti from Soaz to get down a bit of damage, but not going to amount to much else, and it kind of just shows that Fnatic, they're ready to back off.
One mid lane turret, that's all they got. But more importantly, they denied a potential Baron setup for Splyce, the team that was ahead in the game. So they did buy themselves a bit more time. Bwipo, sadly, is just going to be one ulti in these fights, and he will die. But that ulti can be what sets up Caps' engage. And I mean, that's one thing, is if you have enough threats that dives onto the enemy team, that does peel for your own backline. Because you can't just run through Jarvan ult and Galio ult. Like, you kind of have to respect the amount of CC coming at you. So it will buy time for Source.
And the amount of peel options available on the side of Splyce is limited to none at this stage. Of course, Rakan could use some of that CC to kind of disrupt the action there, but you're not going to stop that Galio from coming on. So
oh, no. They're going to jump at Fnatic.
Yeah. So if Splyce do make a mistake, if that backline gets caught out, the Zoe, the Ezreal get taken down, things do look a lot better for Fnatic. That's going to require some pretty clean execution.
Here we go.
For now, though, Splyce looking to start the fight. The hookshot wall dive onto Caps. Bwipo just zoning out, ready to go on and zing Niski in a moment's notice. Hylissang is taking down Kasing. Niski now flashing out to safety. No hesitation on the Cataclysm. But where's the damage? Where's the backup? Bwipo trying to get his way into this one. Copy losing so much there as he can't find an opportunity to do damage right up until the end, but Broxton now buys a bit of time. That's going to be a sleepy Kindred. Get in there, Copy! Cersei on the backside, though, following up with the 80 carry, going godlike on the Camille, taking his time with these kills. It just feels so good when you're that fed, and he's going to bring it home. Beautiful performance from Splyce.
Oh, what a team fight here. They didn't get the correct engage, but they still had so much damage from all the carries, because it was only Kasing that went down early in the fight, and all of Fnatic, they simply ran out of ways to actually kill all these carries here on Splyce, because they invested so much on the first initial target and then get completely split up. The Galio ult ends up doing absolutely nothing in the fight. Caps not able to have an impact in this game at all. And eventually Copy, Cersei, and of course Niski gets to win the fight for Splyce.
The way Cersei weaved in and out of that team fight is beautiful. We have to look at it again.
Very big one. So initial engage onto Caps, not the greatest for Kasing, and he is squishy, so he will die. But now notice how split up the fight gets, because Galio goes to one side, Wimbledon goes to the other side of the wall, and now you can see Splyce coming from 2 to 3 different angles. Copy is untouched in this fight so far. Uramna gets a ton of damage, plus Kindred ult, and now the re-engage comes in from Cersei. Another kill. Copy, once again, full HP, will deal enough damage to actually take down the rest of Fnatic together with this Camille.
It's actually insane that Niski did not die in that fight. Oh man, look at that Ezreal damage.
But here we get to see the anti-synergy of Fnatic comp. Two of them, the Jarvan and the Galio, are trying to dive onto Splyce's backline. They leave the rest of the team behind. The Kindred and the Heimer can't follow, so they're kind of running after them. And then the whole thing splits up, and Fnatic suddenly don't actually have the damage they need.
And it wasn't just the comp, but also potentially the execution. Now trying to get a little bit more here. However, Caps running is for life, but Precision Protocol going to make this one pretty easy. Good use of the Tom Catcher trying to escape, but not going to work. Soaz going to get deleted immediately in the exchange. Splyce are just cleaning up house at this point. Hylissang can try to run, but there's really no option left. Caps also on their tree. Hookshot, wall dive, taunt will come through. Maybe he can make it out of this one, but I don't think it's going to happen. Tries to bring it back, tries to turn it around, gets the GA. making the most of a bad situation there for Caps.
Make it even worse for Xerxes. He lost 100% kill participation. Only been part of 17. And not the last one. So he lost the GA, he lost that one. Everything just went wrong in the last 10 seconds for him.
It's true. Comes out of this game when they win, if they win. Coach! No went wrong.
No went wrong. He's out of this game now. It's 4v5 eventually.
7-0-10 though. Is he going to lose perfect KDA next? We're going to find out. Caps still ready to contest. Oh, ready to do Baron if he's given the opportunity.
They have ulti from Hylissang.
You can see it in their eyes.
Oh, Hylissang is using the ult. They're coming.
They're ready to go for another secret Baron. Odoame's on the bottom side.
There's too many wards in there. There's too many wards.
They don't know what.
Yeah, the blue one over there.
They can see it. There's another one right there.
Fnatic.
They're fishing.
No.
They realize coming.
They realize it's too risky. It's too risky. Instead, they end up just trying to push up mid. Have to contest the river if they want to get some Baron control. But Splyce looking for another fight. Because Splyce is ready this time. Can he actually get onto Source in that back line? Does he even want to?
Immediately the 3-man engage. Now the wombo combo from Splyce coming out as well. Bwipo leaps in, but he's only an ultimate. Goes golden in the end. They're now trying to buy one back. Xerxes could just get taken down here. No GA means they can turn the fight. Caps now ulting out to safety. Fnatic, can they turn this one back? Things have already started to go against them. One member taken down to the 2 members of Fnatic. Splyce want to bring this one back. The taunt is now coming through, but that is a sleepy Heimer. Bye-bye Soaz. Quit napping. You're going down.
This time Fnatic tried to peel for Heimerdinger, and all Splyce did was just wait. Wait for the cannon to disappear, wait for the Kindred ulti to go down, and then re-engage with Kissing. He just redeemed himself, because he had some bad ones earlier, but this one was perfect. Hit 4 out of 5 members, re-engaged after to kill Soaz, and now Fnatic are going to lose this Baron.
Burning down, not a lot of options to respond. Broxah with the smite, but nowhere in the area. Splyce should just be able to clean this one up, continue to extend their gold lead. 30 minutes in, 22 kills to 6. Baron in favor of Splyce. Things looking good.
Let's see the engage from Kissing once again. On the 3 members first, and then the charm on to Broxah. Does not reach Source, but that doesn't matter because it's already perfect. Now Fnatic can't do anything. They can't peel, and they can't kill your back line. Look how healthy all the carries are on the side of Splyce. Now you just gotta wait. Cannon disappears. Kindred ulti goes down for Broxah. Once it's gone, another re-engage, and you win the fight.
Oof.
Dude, this Splyce comp, teamfight's so much better, and it's so much easier to teamfight with than what Fnatic is bringing to the table.
Well, the thing is, they can go in and they can go out. That's the beauty of the Ezreal, the Zoe, and the Rakan. So when you throw down all those things with the Heimerdinger tower saying, hey, walk into us, they just go, no. It's not going to wait. Burn your cooldowns. We'll come back. We can wait a few seconds.
Tip for everyone at home, you do not have to walk into the big cannon. You can wait.
Oh, #1 anti-allow it. Just walk away, dude. Similar story with the Heimerdinger now as Splyce start to look to siege up. This is a lineup we were skeptical. Could they bring back the same form that they showed against Liquid? They're looking even cleaner, even stronger now. They go up against Fnatic. Looking to contest for a spot as a top team in Europe at this point in time. Nisqy going for the engage, looking for a little bit more damage. Odoamne does not have a chance to throw down the ultimate, but as the Lamb's Respite goes, he can look for it. They're backing off now. Does come down, dunked. Hell rains down on Soaz and in the entire lineup of Fnatic as the fight gets started. Hylissang bringing him back. Dies in the belly. Can't stop him from burning there no matter what the contents are. And Splyce just looking now to end the game.
Another great engage on their side, and there's nothing Fnatic can do here. Another next to it's going to fall. Odoamne, he wants some KDA here.
Broxah has good damage, but not enough to take on each and every member. He is going to get stunned up. Hylissang immediately going to take him out to safety. Nexus in the sights of Splyce. What an upset coming through. We wanted to see what form they could bring, and they show domination.
And this is so good for Europe. Another team now able to challenge the top teams. Because we were looking like a region where it was very top-focused. You know, Misfits, G2, Fnatic could dominate against the rest. Splyce returning to form. They went to Rift Rivals. They thought they were going to lose every single game. They didn't. And now they return later than the other team, so less time to practice, less time to get rested, and less time to get rid of your jet lag. And then they dominate Fnatic.
I love what they did. They sat bottom lane, they played around top lane, it worked perfectly. And then when we got to mid-late game, who showed up in every single fight? The bottom lane that was ignored the entire game. It was clutch on the Ezreal, because things engaged. Yeah, there was one that was one or two pretty bad. The rest were so key to getting these fights started. And you know, you look at the draft, you thought Fnatic would probably have the better Wombo comp, but the Rakan plus Rumble did work that game.
Well, too many things on the Fnatic draft did not really make sense, but I don't think they lost due to draft. I think early game, they got outplayed by Splyce. Especially Xerxes Udamne towards the top side. Getting so many early kills onto Whippo was a huge part of them getting ahead. And then eventually you get to the point in the game where the Jarvan is useless. The Galio fell behind early, did not really bring anything to the table. And you have 4 carries that can all deal insane amount of damage. And you sacrificed the laning phase for Kasing just so he could do what we got to see in these fights, and that's engage onto the backline, or onto the lineup of Fnatic.
And the laning phase was a struggle, but it was not enough. You can see the damage dealt coming through here. Yes, Soaz looked
Soaz tried, man.
On the Heimer, but man, look at the Zoe, look at the Ezreal. Of course, Rumble comes out on top because the Equalizer is an insane ability. But still, so much more damage. And to just, once Fnatic's comp fell behind, they didn't get to play League of Legends, Defigio.
This was one of the big fights, and this is where the amount of TPs and globals on Fnatic almost ended up hurting them, because they'd already left with some of the members here to go to bot side, and then they end up staying and get surprised by the engage from Splyce. They lose even more kills here. It goes really bad for Fnatic all of a sudden, because all the carries are getting kills on the side of Splyce.
And this is one of those fights where if you ignore the TPs coming in for Splyce, you see it from Brox's perspective, he sees 2 kills in his eyes. He gets 1 or 2 more autos, he becomes the Fed Kindred, maybe it's his time to shine, but everything turns against them. In this final fight, keep your eyes on Kasing and watch that Equalizer from Odoamne.
Such a good engage here, eventually forcing out all the ultis, and as I said before here, like,
here comes here, just,
there we go. We were not fans of the draft, but I think the play was what hurt Fnatic the most. In this game here, because they gave away so many early kills. And Splyce, the fact they're back, you look at this potential top 6 in Europe, you want Splyce playing like in Spring Split. You want that team in playoffs, in a best of 5, trying to make it all the way to Worlds.
You absolutely do. I loved everything they brought today.
Because we have Misfits also, who decided to join us compared to last split. So we had another potential top team.
G2 also stepping up. Fnatic no longer looking uncontested at the top. Right?
Definitely
and
not.
That's what's so crazy. Well, of course, be sure to hit us up with your player of the game at LOL Esports on Twitter. We've narrowed it down to Odoamne, Xerxes, and Kabi.
It has to be Xerxes.
It has. We're influencing the vote.
Unless you really hate him for losing that 100% kill participation. That was rough. Damn, boy.
Really upset me. He almost had just.
Was that acting, or were you actually angry?
The fact that you can't tell is a good sign. That was really bad acting, was what that was.
Trust me, I've tried the bad acting. I was forced to look angry.
I saw that at Rift Rivals. That was clutch. All right, well, after the break, G2 Esports and Misfits Gaming will face off in our match of the week. To get more insight on G2's form, let's hear from their owner, Ocelot.
Laure here, and I am joined with Ocelot this time. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thanks very much.
Well, you're back from Rift Rival. Outstanding performance there. Were you expecting your guys to destroy NA this hard?
I don't know if expecting, but I was hoping at the very least, you know. I was hoping. You know, it's always great to beat NA and shed some NA tears. It just feels great.
Yeah, perfect. I want to talk especially about Wonder, because he clearly made a statement here, especially on Aatrox. He's been performing really, really well lately. Can you tell me more about this? How does it feel? How do you feel about this?
You know, it was nice to see when we got the Wonderwear. Everybody, or many people, you know, the Reddit and Twitter analysts, fantastic people, were always, you know, triggering us like, oh, no, you should have picked this or that top laner. But we knew, you know, we knew that the kind of player he was, and we're just happy that he's able to show it, and he's only getting better. Like, at the scrims, he's just only getting better. It's incredible.
Yeah, and we see it over the weeks. Now, back in the LCS, how do you think this victory will be helpful for G2 in the rest of the splits?
Well, it's super important because even though you may think that it's not as consequential to win or lose here, but it truly is for the mental of the players, you know, coming, ideally you end the first half of the split without any loss. I mean, that means a lot, right, for the guys. So I'm just hoping for a victory as well. Misfits is an incredible team, so I just hope we have a good version of G2 today as well, and yeah, keep moving forward.
Well, last words, is there something you would like to say to the G2 fans today watching you?
Absolutely. We love you so very much. You guys have been there from the very beginning. Some of you have come in now that, you know, things have been going better and better. So we just love you. It's just full of gratitude.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today. And now we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, it's going to be a match of the week, G2 versus Misfits. Don't go anywhere.